Hi guys, welcome into another edition of The Complete Angler. I'm Joe Long, and this is the Bluegill Assassin. State your name for the record, please.
I'm JC Brooks.
Alright, so today we're going to be talking about bluegill, or as they might call them in your neck of the woods, panfish, or brim. They call them different things everywhere. Basically, they look like these little guys. This is a bass bait, but it gets the idea. So today, we're going to do things a little bit different. It's always him asking me, and I got to come up with all the answers. But today, we're talking about his fish species. He's the bluegill.
You were about to say bass assassin, weren't you?
No. Alright, so you caught 3 of the biggest bluegill I've ever seen in my life. We were looking through my fish records. At least one of his bluegill were bigger than any that I've ever caught. So, tell me what you used to catch your bluegill.
Well, it isn't even out here. Well, I guess this is close enough.
I think it was one like this.
Was it?
I think so.
I don't think it was. I think it was literally irregular.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure because, unless my memory's getting all mixed up, probably is. I mean, I'm getting old. I'm climbing up there in the years. Big 18, 19 coming up. Pretty much just a regular bobber and line and hook.
So for hooks, we really like these South Bend hooks. It's got a wide variety from teeny tiny to, basically up to your, bass size. Good little variety. I think these are like $4 or $5. I mean, you can't beat it. Bobbers, keep a good selection. We've got, my favorite are these. They're made by Phil, I think it's called. It's got a little spring, easy to load. The other kinds are slip bobbers and clip bobbers. And this clip bobber has seen better days. And then the old style little bobber, which you might use, but I'm pretty sure it was one of these because that's what I keep in my tackle box. And hooks. What are some other things you can use to catch bluegill?
Well, I usually don't use them. I usually just go with the old hook and worm. It's worked very well for me in the past. In fact, even when I've been aiming for bluegill, I have managed to catch a couple of bass whenever I was really young. Didn't know what I was going for, though.
Live bait is always a good thing. And he's got a type of bait there. It's not exactly live bait, but it was at one point in time.
We have the crickets. We have,
well... How much were those? I think it was pretty
$5.99.
$5.99
plus tax.
Box of crickets. Crickets are always a good little pond bait. If you're going bluegilling in a pond, you grab that, you grab this, and your rod, and you're ready to go. Speaking of rod and reels, I know you were using a little more of a bass rod when you caught yours, but I have in front of us what I call my little crappie and bluegill rod. It's a lightweight rod, as you see, very bendable. I have a little tiny spinner on here. You can catch bluegill on those, but it's probably not the best thing. This is a little Cabela's, and literally, I can hold it with my little finger.
It ain't, but his little finger isn't that little.
No. So anyone could fish with this. Just a little spinny, and it's a Cabela's Classic. I think I paid maybe $50 for the whole deal, so not too bad. But if you're just bluegilling, you're wanting to fill the stomach, the fridge, or the freezer, that's a good little way to go. Some other things, he's got his hands on some there that are some of my favorites. They're little rebel grasshoppers or crickets. Basically, it's the same design. The greenish ones are grasshoppers, and the browner ones are crickets. There's poppers. This one here, that one's where I've shown the there you go. That's a little popper design, so causes a little disturbance on the top. The other thing that's really popular with panfish are grubs, and we have a little variety of them here. This is a little bigger size, just Mr. Twister tail. Then we got some more tube style, and also the little boot tail kickers, all different colors. Panfish love these, but again, like he said, there's really nothing better
than the live bait. And and whenever it comes to, your artificials, I really haven't gone into that world, mainly because why would you go to something different that you don't know that's going to work when you have something, worms, crickets, whatever, that you know for a fact has worked in the past and will work whenever you're going to use them again.
Yeah, go with what you know. But don't ever be afraid to try something new either. If you go out and you're bluegilling with your worms and they're not catching, they might be, further down, further up. If they're down on the bottom, there's nothing like a good heavy jig hit the bottom. If they're up top, your poppers and your low running guys. And see that here's one that's actually brown and green. So pretty good variety there. So let's talk a little bit about the day you caught those. You caught 3, and they were all 10 or 11 inches.
The smallest one was 10 inches.
And let's see, what were they? 0.81.
One was 0.81, 0.78, and I forget what the other one was. Well, so they were closing in on a pound.
Yeah, they were very big bluegill. So, anything you have to add, or anything you might want to ask me? Although I'm not the Bluegill Assassin, I've been fishing longer, but I guess I'm normally a bass guy, and I kind of tend to go for those or the other big fish species.
Mainly, whenever I caught them 3, I almost said I had bass on my mind. Whenever you are going for bluegill, I would go early morning, because I remember whenever I was a lot younger, me and him used to go fishing quite a bit, actually. And what he'd do is he'd hook me up with a bobber, like normal bobber like I've been going with. And I'd just throw it out there in the middle of the pond about 12 o'clock, noon, 1 o'clock, and just hope to catch something. Sometimes we had good days, other times we didn't catch crap. So, pretty much what I'm saying is go for early morning and go towards the shore. Mm-hmm. There's...
Now, where you caught yours, we're on a pond, and there was a little bay off to the side, a little cove.
Exactly.
And there was a lot of weeds, a lot of structure, and those bluegill were hanging toward that, weren't they?
Mm-hmm. I was able to catch 3 within 2 minutes, pretty much. Mm-hmm. And then here comes the bass assassin saying, you know what, I'm not catching anything, I'm gonna go after bluegill, and then everything just quits. And that wasn't the end of this. That wasn't the end of that day. That's whenever bass assassin struck. But
right. One thing he said, when I took him when he was, just a boy, that fishing can be too complex. We can be talking about $40 lures and this and that. Guys, it doesn't gotta be that hard. Take a kid fishing. Like we said, for $50, you can completely outfit yourself with everything you need to take a kid fishing and have a ball. And sometimes they grow into great fishermen. Sometimes it's just a good pastime. As far as, bluegill, like I said, I don't think I moved past them, because if you're going to eat fish, bluegill's about the best eating fish there is. I would maybe put walleye above them, but...
And here's another thing that I literally just thought of. Mm-hmm. Another little story that my mom's dad, before he passed, literally fished every day after work. Mm-hmm. Every day. he would use crickets, and what he'd do is he'd catch the bluegill. Sometimes he'd keep them, but then this is where your favorite fish comes in. He'd cut them up, put them on the hook, and throw it back out there to catch the bass, because you know that bass love bluegill. So really, if you're wanting, you could. I mean, this is a more complex way to catch bass as well. I know this is a little off topic, but if you're wanting to try to catch bass, sometimes literally going with, again, live bait, cutting up a little bluegill, putting it on a hook or whatever, and just throwing it out there could be the best way to go. It may take a little longer, might be a little harder, but you might get the bigger fish.
Absolutely. We learn a lot from our ancestors, and if we want the fishing to continue past when we are gone, you have to take a kid fishing,
because this is a dying art, literally.
It is. It's something that your World War II guys were all big fishermen and hunters, and as they dwindle, it's up to us to keep the traditions alive. And one of the last videos we did was of my grandpa's lures, and keeping those memories alive. If not, fishing will go away. So one thing we want to do is kind of start a community through our Facebook and our YouTube, of ways to help each other. He specializes in bluegill, I specialize in bass. Maybe you guys are walleye guys or trout guys or some other species. At the Complete Angler, we want to learn more about every fish species there is. So getting together and sharing your knowledge, my knowledge, his knowledge, and everyone else is what this show, this channel is all about. So,
and another thing is fishing. I said previously and earlier in this video, kind of stick with what you know, but also you want to kind of experiment. Throw something on there that you've never used before. You never know. It could be the next big thing.
Absolutely.
Tubes. There you go. That's the perfect example. No one used them, and then someone finally used one and started catching like that.
Yep. And things, we talk a lot of times about using something different that no one else is using. And that's, whoever invented the tube was the first one to use it. It was, a great bait. And now it's been used for X amount of years, and it's not near as good. It's the next newer thing seems to be, the hot thing. So
better yet, I'm going to say something. I got something. So I'm going to make a challenge. You know just as well as we know that there's more and more baits and lures coming out every day. So try to make yourself one that's completely unique, and see how it does. And if it works or if it doesn't, send a pic. We'd love to see it, and heck, we might even try to make one like it, or we'll try to base one off of it, or try to tweak it, or we'll do something with it.
Remember some of the poppers and stuff I made, the blade baits? So we like to do that too. One thing I learned is the more species you try to fish for, the more you learn, and the things you can advance your other. Like, for an example, when I was into trout, I used to tie flies, okay? And I learned that fish really like that texture. Grab that box with the treble hooks.
This?
No, the one with the treble hooks. The little box with the treble hooks right there on the other side of the little boxes.
Oh, these.
The box that was in. Yes.
Can't help it.
So, from tying flies, I learned bass really love these. And I put these, this is basically a small fly of its own, basically, in a way. I put these on the back of my bass crankbaits, and my success ratio has exploded because it's just a little thing different that no one else uses. So, the more you learn about bluegilling, that's going to help you in your bass fishing. The more you learn about bass fishing, that's going to help you in your walleye fishing. The more you learn about trout fishing, the more that's going to help you with every different fish species. It makes you more of a, dare I say,
complete angler.
It makes you more of a complete angler. So for Joe Long,
JC Brooks,
keep fishing, and remember to
like and subscribe and take someone fishing.
Very good. Well said. Thank you guys for your time. We appreciate it. And see you next time. See you on the lake.